You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver media podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and The Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
Well, hello. Hello, kids and cubs, and welcome to Season 3 and episode number 143 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Crier Media Network. Today, recording day is it Friday?
It's Friday.
Yeah. It's Friday, June 16th, 2023, and there's going to be some light rain here at the Beaver Lodge. I'm your host, the Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him, he, Mr. Beaver, and with me, as always, is my dear friend, Mr. Grizzly. Nice to see you, sir. Of course, a big thank you goes to our podcast's founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. What are
I don't know. I'm having fun.
Okay, for people listening at home, Mr. Grizzly's doing weird stuff with his handlebars. we had a very special Friday morning Beaver Bite planned for you today, with planned guest, our old pal Jake. Unfortunately, he wrote to Mr. Grizzly and informed him that there was some personal matters that he needed to tend to, and that he sends his apologies. And I'm sure we'll reschedule. Yes. So, unfortunately, there was some, so unfortunately he can't be here today, but we hope everything's going well and we're sending good wishes. I'm laughing here for people listening at home because the kids were chatting pre-show, and they were chatting about something like about beaver fever. I'm not exactly sure how that came up, but yes, there's a quote here. The only known cure for beaver fever is drink lots of fluids, lots of rest, and plenty of vitamin D.
I don't think they mean sunshine.
I don't know if that's vitamin Douglas, but I will assume the D stands for Douglas because this is a family show.
I don't.
Of course,
I don't think that.
I don't
think that's what the D stood for.
Of course, we're a special kind of family.
Family entertainment.
I was saying, it's like beaver fever. Wouldn't the cure require some dancing? Hey.
I got a fever, and the only cure for it is more cowbell.
And then we go, well, Beaver Fever might require some dancing, but please, no white leisure disco suits. Douglas, doesn't everything almost require dancing? You know what, Kit Elaine?
Damn near.
Truer words have rarely been typed up in a
There
chat.
you go.
Everything, almost everything requires dancing.
I had some vitamin G last night.
Oh.
Guinness, vitamin G.
Guinness. Vitamin dancing. Oh yeah, we're in the gutter already. Here we go. Oh, the Daily Beaver. Oh, that usually follows the lots of fluids comment.
Yeah.
The dancing.
Yeah.
Oh, or a little tail slap. Wow.
Okay, all right. Let's
I think we have some kinky
dial
kits.
it back. I'm not fully awake yet. It's 10 after 7 on a Friday.
Man, you're a precocious bunch.
Well, I guess somebody's got to do it. It's just not going to be me. I can tell you that. It'll be you.
Okay, I think we did thank the sponsors. So since we're giggling already, we're already off the rails. Yes, I think we've started Casual Friday early today. Yes, Dylan.
Yes.
Mr. Grizzly, how's your mental health today? Mine is obviously doing quite well.
Mental health wise, I think I'm pretty good. Actually, a little tired. Was up. We weren't up exceptionally late last night. Went to my buddies of mine who opened. They own Manor Lounge, which is it's a business that's around the world actually, because they have them across the country, and they have a couple of stores in Australia, and they're escape rooms. And I helped them build their first couple of stores, and we're old friends. Like one of the partners is I've known him for like almost 30 years, I think, and the other fellows we've long since been friends. And anyway, they had a. I was at their opening, their grand opening of the new Manor Lounge on Elgin Street back in March. I can't remember, sometime in the spring. It was cold out at the time. Anyway, just a second. Anyway, last night they had a grand opening of their Stella terrace. Stella, as in Stella Artois, sponsor of the terrace, and so it's like a big patio covered over area. They've got a tiki bar that they're going to open soon, and so there was a grand opening party on the terrace last night, and Jeff Rogers was there. Jeff Rogers is a absolutely brilliant singer, songwriter, soul singer. He's got more soul than Van Morrison. You would consider him to be a blue-eyed soul artist, which means he's a white guy who sings soul music. He did last night. He did a version of "I Want It That Way." Or was it "I Want It That Way"? It was a Backstreet Boys song, and I was like, "Is that the Backstreet Boys?" And my buddies everybody. I look around, everybody's singing it, and I'm like, I'm not a Backstreet Boys fan, and I don't like that song, but he put a soul spin on it, and I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm digging it. The man could sing the phone book. He's that good, and he plays like 9 instruments or something like this. He's just one of those people who was born to do what he does. So much soul, and at first I hadn't seen him in a few years because the whole global pandemic thing.
Right.
And I walked in and I'm like, who is this guy? And I bumped into another friend of mine who I'd not seen in years. And he's like, it's Jeff Rogers. I'm, oh, right. I just hadn't seen him in a while, right? And last time I saw him, I think he didn't have a beard and his hair was longer and we were all younger. So I didn't immediately recognize him, but oh my God, he just burned the house down. He is so good. So I was talking to my buddy Steve, one of the partners, and he says, you know what? I think we're going to try and do this every Thursday. I go, oh, he goes, yeah, every Thursday we'll have Jeff here. He goes, tentative plan. I hope I didn't just let the cat out of the bag. Maybe I did, but he's looking at, trying to have Jeff there every Thursday and have a patio party from 6 to 9, like a happy hour patio party. And we got there at about 6:15, and there was a lot of people. It was really full, like early. So I was like, good on you, brother. Good on you. I'm so happy to see, friends of mine who are doing, local guys who are running a very competitive business and succeeding at it. It's tough to be a business owner. It's tough to open a bar or restaurant. But this is a bar, restaurant, and escape room. So they have escape rooms in the basement. The main
Oh,
floor,
cool.
they've got a bar and restaurant, and then in the back area, it's also a bar and restaurant. But they have they've got a bocce bowling alley for bocce ball. They have several dartboards with electronic scoring. So you just play.
Okay.
You just play. You don't have to write anything down. It's all digital. It's really well done, and they're real darts, real boards, not anything fake like that. And they've got giant Jenga tables and Plinko games. They got all kinds of. It's really cool. So the idea is like come in, have a meal, have a drink, go do your escape room, come back up, play some games, have a couple more drinks and maybe something else, a nosh or something, and talk about, the escape room you just did. And I'm like, pretty brilliant idea. They've got a big stage in the back so that they can have live music from time to time indoors throughout the years. Yeah, I know I'm really selling the place, but they're friends of mine, so I'm happy to promote them. And it's a great spot. Simple as that.
Hmm. Kit Kendra's asking, is it on
Yes, it
Elgin?
is. It's on Elgin Street in what was once known as the Penguin, which then became
Ah,
Bravo
yes.
Bravo, and
Yes,
then
yes.
it was Hooley's for many, many years, and now it's called Manor
Yeah, it's
Lounge.
sad when the yeah, it was sad when the Penguin closed because it was one of the only medium-sized venues in
That's
the
right. Yeah.
city. Yeah. Oh, got Kit Hugh going, all bars are an escape room.
Well, there is some truth to that. Yeah.
Oh, the kids, the kids. We love you. My end, I had a wonderful meeting yesterday morning with Kit Hugh and Kit Connie,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
who the kids may recognize from the Rosie Project, and two other people. There are some developments. I won't spoil anything.
Okay.
But when Kit Connie comes back and is able to give us an update, oh my, oh
Okay.
my,
Okay.
are there developments?
Outstanding.
Yeah, I think the kids will be very, very happy with what's going on. And I'm not sure exactly what day it is because we never actually talked about it. But Kit Hugh either had a birthday or has a birthday coming up because we celebrated.
Oh, I had myself on mute there. Sorry about that. Hugh, are you my age or a couple of years younger? I can't recall because I'll be 55. 55 on the 5th of July. So 5/5 on
Mm,
5/7. Um,
okay.
I can't remember. So June 13th was your birthday. Okay. 53. Okay. Yeah.
So
So,
53. Oh, so the same day as my mom.
oh, wow.
No wonder we
There
get
you go.
along.
How cool is that?
June 13th. Good eggs are born on June 13th. I know from personal experience.
Well, I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah, well, the logic is unassailable.
Indeed.
I'm a mama's boy. Come on.
I gotta,
Save the flavor saver. Oh, there's a campaign. I wonder if somebody would donate another $500 if Mr. Grizzly would keep it for another week.
oh, if somebody's
If
willing to do that,
during the show?
if somebody's willing to do that during this show, I'll keep it for another week. But I really want to shave it off, and I know Bridget wants me to shave it off. She's sitting on the couch going, "Please shave it off." But if someone is willing to donate $500 while we're on the show, somebody donates $500 to
Or a
or
group.
a person or a group donates $500 to Cornerstone Housing for Women, I will keep it for one more week. But this is the one time in my life I'm going to say, please don't donate. Please don't.
Do it. Do it.
I
Do
really
it.
want to
Do it.
shave this thing off.
Stirring the pot. Come on, kids.
But if somebody,
Team Beaver or
if
Team
a
Grizzly?
person or a group donates 500 and sends us proof of their donation before the show ends today, I'll keep it for another week. I was going to shave it off on the show, but I will keep it for another week if you can show us that a group or a person has donated.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, you know what? I think I need to get ready for this. This requires a special Kit Hugh. I will toss you 5 ounces of silver right now. Oh, for this, I need to prepare for the occasion with, I think this requires a little scent. And I believe Kit Jen is with us this morning, and this was a present. So um, maybe to conjure up some donations. There we go. A little bit and a little bit. All right. Let's see if we can make it happen.
Oh, oh man.
All right.
Hugh, did you just donate $500? Oh, if you did,
No, he
I
did.
don't know. I don't know. That's I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know.
Okay, because there's a comment. B will pay me back, I'm sure, but I don't know. Yes, Lord of Misrule. All right, the kids, the kids who are listening are probably wondering what the hell is going on. We did, Mr. Grizzly and I did not talk about this $500 for one more
No,
week thing.
he sprung it
By the
on me
way,
like now.
it just came to me as we were talking.
Dude, you're pissing Bridget off.
I'm so sorry, Mademoiselle Fox.
She's on the couch right over there.
Meh, 5 ounces is on the table. You do the math.
I don't know.
Okay, people. Okay. Oh man, oh man. It's we were planning to do a talk about Forrest Grump show with our pal Jake, because we figured that, well, I mean, I'm only a beaver and I can't help but gloat. I just, I'm so sorry, kids and caddies. I'm a very, very, very weak beaver.
It's okay. You're allowed to do that. Yeah.
So we do have some content related to that, and you know how everybody keeps on saying, just think of the most weird, weird shit
Yeah.
that you can think of, and then like double it or something.
Double it and add 30. That's the metric
Okay.
system, how you convert from imperial to metric. And you know what, though, when it comes to temperature, anything above 0, double it and add 30, you're only within a couple of degrees off. So you're really close. I know that sounds ridiculous because it's from Bob and Doug McKenzie, but literally, if you double it and add 30, you're pretty close to the real deal. So, like 22 degrees Celsius, double it, 44, and add 30, 74. What is 22 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit? And let's just plug it in here. Fahrenheit, G-I-T. Fahrenheit to Celsius conversion. I got a conversion thing here, and we'll just put it on the screen and do the live conversion because why not? Why not, right?
Okay.
So let's go with 74, 23. So I said double it and add 30. So I said 22, double it, 44, and add 30, 74. So I'm off by 1 degree. So like I said, anything above 0, double it and add 30, and you're pretty close to getting the conversion.
There you go.
It's a couple of degrees off, but it's close enough that it will make sense to, so if you say to an American, you go, oh, it's 28, double it and add 30, and it gives them within 3 or 4 degrees what the actual temperature is.
That's good shorthand.
Yeah.
All right. DM me and I'll e-transfer.
So send Hugh a message and he'll e-transfer.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure what kind of message. Are you asking on Twitter, Kit Hugh?
Yeah, let us know.
All right. Well, I'm going on Twitter just in case. I'm sending you a message. Here I am. There you go. All right. All right. Good morning, Kit Ellen. Good morning, Kit Hugh. Good morning, Kit Elaine. Good morning, Kit Jen. Good morning to you, Kit Tabby G and Kit Linda M. It's so lovely to see you, Kit Kendra. Hello again. It's nice to see you this morning. Kit Saucy, and of course, Kit Osiris. And I don't know, but I know that you have 3 kits of your own. So good morning to everyone there at the Kit Saucy household. And who else do we have here this morning that we should say hello to? I believe that's everyone, unless you pipe up. let us know that you're here. But even if you're just listening silently, hello to you as well.
Okay, I got a couple of quick hits for
Um,
you here. Couple of quick hits.
okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to knock you off the rail there, but a couple of quick hits. That time Donald Trump promised food for everyone, so he was after his arraignment, he went to a restaurant in Miami called Friyay and said food for everyone, and then left and
Yes.
did what he does, didn't pay for a damn thing. It's like,
Yep.
good God. Not surprised in the least.
It's well, he apparently he did that. He did that again.
Yeah, like just the other day.
Yeah, but this is the second
Oh, yeah.
time after an arraignment he goes out and he says food for
And doesn't
everyone.
pay for anything.
Now, I'm not sure if he paid for the first one, but the second time he said food. Yeah, I don't know if people then started to order.
Well, here's the thing.
Oh no, this is Trump at Versailles.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is another one. But yeah, so he went the last time. He said food for everyone, and I believe that he did pay. But this one, yes, he. It's just, why would you
He wants to look good. That's all he cares about. But come on.
So he went there. He said food for everyone. Everyone
And then
cheered.
he walked away.
So, according to Vanity Fair, Donald Trump has long been known for two things: lying all the time and being extremely cheap, and being really weird about dogs and making wildly bizarre claims like that Abraham Lincoln had it easy compared to him. But right now we're focusing on the lies and the cheapness. I love Vanity Fair. Anyway, these two traits converged on Tuesday in an event that, in retrospect, we should all have seen coming. After pleading not guilty to 37 felony counts brought by the Justice Department, the ex-president stopped by the Miami restaurant Versailles, where patrons prayed for him and sang happy birthday one day early. It was there that the former president declared, "Food for everyone." And apparently there's some video clips here in the story. Most people would take this declaration to mean Trump was saying he was going to buy food for everyone in the restaurant, but according to the Miami New Times, that was not the case. New Times wondered, did Trump, who famously fancies his chicken from KFC and his steaks well done and slathered with ketchup but isn't exactly known for picking up the check, treat his fan club to a spread of croquetas, pastelitos, and cubanos chased with cafecitos? It turns out no one got anything. Not even a cafecito to go. A knowledgeable source assures New Times that Donald Trump's stop at Versailles totaled about 10 minutes, leaving no time for anyone to eat anything, much less place an order.
To no one's surprise.
I will march down to the Capitol with you.
I'm going to march there with you. No, I'm not. I'm going to stand in this tent
Food
and
for
watch you do it on
everyone.
television because everybody gets
This
cake.
is-
Let them eat cake is basically.
It's worse than you were going just where I was going. I was going to say it's worse than let them eat cake because at least she let them
Yeah.
eat cake. They didn't even get to order.
Well, no, he was in a restaurant. He said food for everyone, which, restaurant will serve food for everyone. He just wasn't going to pick up the tab. That's the difference. So here's the other one I have, which is a decidedly different hit than that one. That was like a little bit of comedic Schadenfreude. This one is a serious tone. Dorothy Shepherd, New Brunswick MLA,
Okay.
walked out in the middle, resigned. She was in the legislature, resigned while Blaine Higgs was delivering a speech. Literally wrote him a handwritten note, dropped it on his desk, and walked out right in the middle of his speech. And we have 2 minutes of her being interviewed afterwards, and she's quite emotional. And let's just watch this because it hits. It hits. Check this out.
Minister, about to happen here. Tell us, I guess, first of all, are you still a minister? Are you still a part of this government?
I've just resigned.
Resigned?
I've just resigned, thank you. Yeah.
Are you still intending to be part of the Tory caucus?
I do for now. I hope that I have friends there. I hope that I can still be a good influence. And I still want to represent my constituents. I am a progressive conservative.
Why did you resign?
I resigned because, it's not just about Policy 713, but I was proud today to stand and support that motion. I resigned because there is no process. Cabinet and caucus are routinely dismissed. I have been struggling with this since October of 2021. I have had colleagues and friends encourage me to stay in the inner circle, to do the best I can do. I feel I've done that, but I've run out of runway. There's no accomplishing anything more in this cabinet, and so I'm ready to leave.
Have you attempted to tell the Premier this, that he needs to change his style, that he can't be so editorial, for want of a better word?
Absolutely. I've been very honest and frank with the Premier and with my colleagues. It's my style, and I've tried to be a good soldier, do a good job. I believe I've done a good job. I just don't think there's anything more that I can do and accomplish in this cabinet.
Are any of your colleagues thinking of joining you? Or
I
joining
can't
you in
speak.
He played video games the whole time.
I can't speak for anyone else. I can't. All I can say is that my colleagues have been supportive, and I think that's it for today, guys.
How did the Premier react when you handed him this letter?
He said it was good of me to get it in early.
Yeah, you did see her pin, right? She was wearing the trans pride flag pin. Again, a progressive conservative who said, "Nope, I'm out. I'm out. I'm not doing this."
Wow. We have a copy of the letter here.
You got it.
Image of it. Short and simple.
I can no longer,
June 15th, 2023.
no longer remain in your cabinet. I resign from cabinet effective immediately. Dorothy Shepherd.
That's it.
Like, ma'am.
And Jody Wilson-Raybould, take notes.
Yeah.
That's how you resign in
Yeah.
protest.
You know, so this, Hugh just put something in the comments here. I'll put it on the screen. The party's leaving her. And this is what reminds me of our friend, our dear friend and colleague and fellow broadcaster on this Crier Media Network, Charles Adler. He went through something similar. He goes, the party left me. He goes, I'm no longer, this party is no longer progressive. He was a proud progressive conservative. And I know people have had their differences with him over the years, but I mean, we've gotten to know him, and he's a really wonderful human being who is, first and foremost, progressive. Progressive. Like I said, progressive conservatives and liberals, we're literally like, that far apart. Like we're so close. We're on the line and we're just a little bit over it, and they're a little bit over it over there. But at the end of the day, progressive conservatives and liberals have always been in support of Canadian people and helping each other and giving people a hand up from day one, right? We were always about, let's make the country a better place. Joe Clark, progressive conservative, would have nothing to do with that party. Kim Campbell has said point blank, I want nothing to do with this party. Even Stockwell Day, who was a reformer, Canadian Alliance, wants nothing to do with the party. When you lose Stockwell Day, like, holy shit, man. And I don't care for the man at all, but when you've lost him, it should tell you something. So with Miss Dorothy Shepherd, the party has left her. They are not progressive. She's progressive. She says, I'm a progressive conservative. They're not progressive. I mean, this is an older white woman who has lived a life of privilege, who realizes that there are people within our society that do not have the same privileges that she has. And she's going to damn well stand up for them. Which, that's my reason for being in this world, is I was born into privilege. It took me a long time to figure it out, because when you have it, you don't realize what those privileges and advantages are. When you were born with it, you don't know that you have it. Until somebody points out to you what you have, and you're like, I do? Well, of course you do. You don't realize somebody else doesn't have the same advantages in life, because when you have them and they don't have them, you don't see what they don't have. And you're going to have your daily struggles, whether it be financial or mental or physical, whatever the case is. But you're still given a chance to start a 100-meter race at the 50-meter line, is what it boils down to. I'm starting at the halfway point. I have no obstructions in front of me. A person of color has to start at the 100-meter line. I start at the 50-meter line. A person with a physical disability, you know what I mean? Like, I have all the advantages in the world, and I realize that. And here's a woman who has had a ton of it, who said, I'm out. I can't support a party that will not be progressive. I will not be regressive. So, ma'am, Miss Dorothy Shepherd, full respect to you. Full respect to you. We should reach out and see if we can get her on the show.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, this happened during the context of an opposition motion. The initial version of the motion called on the Higgs government to reverse its changes to Policy 713, which sets minimum standards for safe, inclusive schools for LGBTQ students. Education Minister Bill Hogan introduced the changes on June 7th, and he said that there's an error or a typo in the article. Education Minister Bill Hogan introduced changes June 7th that he said make it mandatory to get parental consent before even using the chosen name and pronoun of a child younger than 16 in class. So basically, what is happening is if a child, when they're in school, and because they're hanging out with their friends and they're being their most natural and, you know, they're in that phase of their life, like this, if they happen to be trans, where they're questioning.
Yes, which is what one does at that age. You know, you're trying to figure out your space.
And they're trying things out.
Yep.
Like either they know or they're trying things out. You know, they don't know if it fits, or, you know, they're in that stage. They're figuring it out. So if they ask their teacher, or maybe they don't even have to ask their teacher, maybe this, you know, maybe this is, well, I guess this is technically it is written, I guess, for a teacher if someone asks or using, but I'm not sure if this then gets applied while in the hallway. I heard somebody calling, you know, Michelle, Michael Michelle, and you know, I'm going to ask about that. So, you know, this can be abused, but make it mandatory to get parental consent before even using the chosen name and pronoun of a child younger than 16 in class. So if a child asks for it and asks for it for his teacher or her teacher and hasn't said this at home first, then they're going to have to go and get consent, which obviously outs the child. The Liberals amended their motion to have it call for full consultations by child and youth advocate Kelly Lamrock, with a report due in August. The 6 PC MLAs voted for that amendment and then for the amended motion itself, helping it pass 2620. So she left the legislature, came back, and voted with 5 other PC MLAs.
5 other progressive conservatives.
To essentially defeat the government.
Yep.
Who want to do this now. And to have the province's child and youth advocate do a report on what the consequences of that would be.
Linda, once again, with the branch drop. Once again, Linda, your game lately. You're just beating the hell out of us. You've been so on point with every comment. They're such cowards. They want to hide their bigotry by pretending they're advocating for someone else's rights.
Right. And here's the problem with that is, as we mentioned on this show, is that information about a child's gender identity does not belong to the state.
No.
It is not theirs to do anything with, to keep secret, to disseminate. It's not their information. Even if one would accept that the parents have a right to know, the question is not, do they have a right to know? The question is it your job? Is it your duty? Is it your place? Is it your role to be informing parents of this information? Even if you know it, it is not. They are literally taking something that belongs to kids, something deeply personal that belongs to them, and saying, no, this is mine to do with what I please.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can't add to that, sir. You've put a perfect bow on it right there.
It's the same thing our community had with coming out. Somebody knew before you and told it. We had it also with, with the HIV crisis, when some people were, and they told a couple of people, and then somebody said, oh yeah, no, he is, or she is. There are things that are not yours to tell.
Very true.
There are questions that are not yours to ask.
1 second, I got to do something here. I'll be right back. My apologies.
All right. And the questions that are not yours to ask, let's put a pin in that one, right? Because I'm sure, unless you've been living under a rock, you've heard of Kelowna Man, who was at a track meet and allegedly saw a 9-year-old girl with a pixie haircut competing and decided that she was a boy and that he had a right to know if she was a boy. It brings us to the point where you have the wackadoodles going to children's sports meets now.
Yeah.
And saying, that's a boy. I have a right to know whether or not that's a boy. And you have to take steps in order. You got to show me some papers, or you got to maybe do an inspection.
They really are obsessed with the genitalia of children, aren't they?
I mean, it's not your information to know. You have no business knowing that.
None. What happened to...
You certainly don't have any business to be demanding to be shown papers on
well,
demand.
And these are always the ones who scream about freedom the most, right? They scream, freedom, freedom, freedom. I'm like, aren't you taking someone's free choice away from them? That's not freedom. You have demanded to know a personal private matter of another human being. You've destroyed them. You've robbed them of their freedom.
It's like, sir, you need to know your place.
It's that.
You need to know your place. Some things are not yours to know, and some things are not yours to share.
Period.
Information about a child's gender identity does not belong to the state. Nope. It's not the state's place to disseminate that in any way, shape, or form, unless someone is in imminent danger.
Yes.
And it's related. Other than that, no. So yes, she did the right thing. And I'm not entirely unconvinced that those other 5, because now she set the bar. So the other 5 that voted against will be asked the question. There'll be microphones in their faces going, if this report comes out and it says what we all know it's going to say, don't do this to the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if the child and youth advocate is any child and youth advocate worth their salt, that's what that report is going to say.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. And then they do it anyway. Will those other 5 leave and make the government fall? Are those 6 enough to make the government fall? It might be. I don't know what the standings are in the legislature. I've been looking for it, but Wikipedia doesn't have anything updated since 2020 for some reason. I'm trying to look on the New Brunswick legislature website, and it's not actually obvious where the seat map actually is. You think that would be like right up there, right? But not. So, yeah.
Weird.
I mean,
weird time and space we're in right now.
We really are in a weird time and space. Let's see what else is in this article here. Higgs would not comment following whatever Lamarck recommends. Higgs would not commit to following whatever Lamarck recommends. Of course, why would he? Because he's got an agenda. I mean, all it took was like 3 letters, and one of them saying that there was like kitty litter all over the school for him to go ahead with this. I'm looking at the majority of caucus that supported what our minister put forward, so I'm going to rely on him to look at who else he needs to talk to about how to implement the policy, how to engage parents, and will allow that to unfold, he said. We can't let individual feelings in the legislature at this point kind of overshadow the hundreds of probably thousands of parents and what is being identified as something that needs to be addressed. Probably thousands of parents? There's probably thousands of parents of trans kids
Oh yeah.
in New Brunswick schools. And what is being identified as something that needs to be addressed by who? By who? That answer is just bullshit. He
No,
did
no,
it?
no, no, no. That's just from Bridget.
Oh, that's from
She's like,
okay. Yeah. Wow. And if a child says no to involving their parents, they should be referred to a school psychologist or social worker to come up with a plan to include those parents, minister said. So we're going to invite other adults in to pressure you to inform parents after you've said no.
how? This is just
After you've said no. And if a child says no to involving their parents, they should be referred to a school psychologist or social worker to come up with a plan to include those parents, not to come up with a plan to go forward with what's in the best interest of a child. No, to come up with a plan to include those parents.
I don't know what.
This is
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I don't know.
The other conservatives who broke ranks along with Shepherd on the vote were ministers Jeff Carr, Danielle Alain, and Trevor Holder, and backbenchers Ross Wetmore and Andrea Anderson Mason. If any of you kids listening are from New Brunswick, let these MPs know that you have their backs. These MLAs, sorry, know that you have their backs. Wow. Whatever Lamrock decides won't be binding on the Higgs government, of course, but the vote represents a symbolic rejection of the Premier's approach to the issue. Wow. Oh my God. Higgs was complaining during his debate speech about what he called a lack of openness to the role of parents when Shepherd got up and left. The Premier claimed gender dysphoria, a medically recognized diagnosis when the gender someone feels or experiences is different than the one they were born with, is becoming, quote, popular and trendy. Premier, it's not a fad.
It's not a fad.
It's people being their authentic selves. It's people feeling comfortable enough to be their authentic selves. Why do you have a problem with this? Why do you think this is a problem that needs addressing? Kids are finding out who they are.
Yeah.
Let them. This is not hard. It's not any different than anything you guys experienced in your generation. Kids hit an age where they find out who they are. They just have more freedom to find out who they are and be who they are earlier in life now. They don't need to keep it hidden in a closet until they've got already a place to live and already a high-powered job and have already made themselves invaluable and maybe already have married someone and started a family in another way.
Yeah.
And lived a life of deception. They don't have to do that now. That's the only difference. It's the same constants, just different variables. There are more variables. That's all. This is not a panic situation. This is nothing that needs to be addressed. Gail Costello of Pride Ed and Education, who we are trying to get on the show, but clearly she's busy. says that Higgs' speech was offensive. Quote, "They don't like it when we say it's transphobic, but when it's transphobic, you call it out as transphobic," she said. Boom. Higgs said during the debate that Policy 713, quote, kind of slid into the system, unnoticed under his watch in 2020, and only came to light when people began hearing about drag queen story times in libraries. Oh, my God. The trend was contributing to, quote, an erosion of the family role in child's upbringing, Higgs said.
This is Jen's comment here is dead bang on accurate.
And when you force disclosure, those discoveries go underground, hidden, and often dangerous.
And I cannot speak to that in my experience, right? Because I'm a mayonnaise Wonder Bread sandwich, right? But you can attest to it, Mr. Beaver. You can tell us. You can tell us from your lived experience how that statement from Jen is realistic and accurate. And I can only listen and learn. It's all I can do because I can't speak to any experience of that nature. So I'm going to listen and learn, and I'll quietly stand in the background, ready to prop up and lift up anybody who needs to be lifted up.
I can tell you that from personal experience. The years when I was a teenager and I was in the closet, and I was exploring feelings and other things, but it hadn't been. I was exploring feelings and other things in places and in arms of people I should not have been in.
Right.
At that age. So, yeah, it leads to things that can lead to things that can affect people for the rest of their lives. This is not good. This is not good. Liberal leader Susan Holt accused Higgs of spreading hate in his speech, but said she was pleased the vote and Lamrecht's consultations created another opportunity to revisit and strengthen Policy 713. I believe that the Child and Youth Advocate will put forward a clear, strong, well-worded recommendation for Policy 713 that the House will be able to adopt, hopefully with unanimity, she told reporters. And the Green Party leader, David Kuhn, said Higgs' support in his caucus and in his party was clearly evaporating, and he should resign. So this is leading me to think that maybe it's a thin majority and the support of the Greens is what has been making it a more solid majority.
Yeah.
I'll try to look for it more at one point when you get on a roll there, Mr. Grizzly, to see if I can find more on the legislature and what the party standings are to see how much danger or not he is in. Because if it's a slim majority, he might not be voted out by his own caucus, but somebody might try to. I don't know. I guess he would invoke a confidence motion on himself either. I don't know how they're going to get rid of it. How they'd get rid of him. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I guess some that with a series of bad poll numbers and that type of stuff. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll share quickly here. Just give me a split second, and I'm going to share something. No, you'll like this. You're going to trust me. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. I would not lie to you. It's a joyful, loving, happy thing. You're going to love this. I promise you. It's so worthwhile. So James just tweeted this out a moment ago. He has a new addition to his household.
Oh. Oh my God.
Kazzy the kitty.
Oh my God, that's so. Oh, I want to pet.
Yes.
Oh, what a pretty kitty.
Right? How awesome is that?
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, here we go, Miss Sadeka. Not everyone. Wow. Okay. Gee, wow. Not everyone who thinks they might be stuck in a body remains feeling like that. Sometimes it just takes life experiences to realize what they love about themselves and others. Kit PNC Bio. It's unbelievably cruel to force kids to recon with sexuality at your pace. Jesus Christ. Kit Saucy. The church is slowly losing its foothold in the Maritimes. We still have assholes trying to do burnouts on the rainbow crosswalks. The town repaints them every time.
So I remember.
Oh, we got one more from Miss Sadeka. I will say, as a mom of 2 teens, that questioning who they are has come up a lot, but you love and support them unconditionally, and they will figure it out. We all question our bodies and our teens. Boom. So much wisdom.
I just, sometimes I'm left speechless. I'm just, this, again, I've said this a million times. We're in the strange timeline. We're in a very bizarre, strange timeline. And I don't know what to make of it. And I've been a little overwhelmed and exasperated by all of the bizarre terribleness that's going on in the world. And then you see somebody like Dorothy Shepherd who takes a stand and makes a stand. And basically, in the most polite woman of a certain age, white woman of a certain age way, flipped off everyone. Basically said, up yours, screw you, I'm out. This shit is terrible and I'm not supporting. She in certain ways, she crossed the floor on that one, right? Yeah. As did other members of the legislature who voted the way they did. And I think that is just so kick-ass awesome.
Yep. And it's not the first time we see that. I mean, federally, remember Belinda Stronach did that for the same reason.
Same reason.
It was same-sex marriage. I was wondering when you were going to get to that.
We are on the precipice, folks. I'm going to have this running in the background. I don't know. We might hit it before the show ends. I'm like, we're right on the edge of the 40 million mark. 40 million. And then it just keeps ticking up, right? I'm like, that is so cool.
Wow.
That's so cool.
Look, I got to show you this, Please. Mr. Grizzly. This is ridiculous. I'm actually on the site of the Legislative Assembly of New Brunswick.
Okay, let's put this up here in a sec. There we go.
Legislative Assembly. No seat map. Purpose and history, references, notices, members, current members directory, speakers, find my MLA, no seat map, legislation, House business. There is no question period, current members, recently, there is no seat map.
That's
from the homepage.
Strange, isn't
it? It's really, really weird. That's like kind of, I don't know, man. It's kind of like basic information that people would look for, and from what I can tell, there's also no search function on the site. Wow. When they don't want, conservatives sometimes, man. This is blowing my mind. Wow. Okay, there we go. Okay. Meet the party standings. Sorry. No seat map. But if you scroll down on the page,
you got to search for it, is what you're saying.
Well, no, I'll show you. So it's on the main page.
Right.
Scroll down. Down. Meet the members.
Wow.
Party standings. That's it.
Yeah. Huh.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, it's 29 for the Progressive Conservatives, 16 for the Liberals, 3 for the Greens, and 1 independent. We don't know how that person stands. So yeah, 20 and 30, 46, 49. Yep, that would be enough.
Yeah. To fall the government, to bring it down.
That would be enough, yes. Wow. Okay. So, things may be getting juicy. things may be getting juicy. Okay. We'll keep you. Again, who says Canadian politics is
It's
boring?
not.
It's not. All right. Back to Ronald Rump Roast, because the articles they just get better. They just get better. There's this one, Mr. Grizzly, from Talking Points Memo. Go ahead.
Rudy Giuliani used a female alias in emails about plan to overturn the election.
Rudy Giuliani used an email address with the name Helen in some of his communications about his efforts to oppose former President Trump's 2020 election loss. This has come out as part of the defamation lawsuit filed against him by Ruby Freeman and Wandrea Shea Moss, the two Georgia election workers who were singled out by Trump, and then, had weird people coming to the door and saying that we got to move you to another place for your protection. All that kind of stuff. That was my main Gmail account since I had Gmail, Giuliani said in a deposition on March 1st, 2023, and somehow others were created for specific purposes, but that would cover 95% of any email I had and probably every important one. Giuliani's mother, who passed away in 2002, was named Helen. In an email to Talking Points Memo, Giuliani's attorney Joe Sibley pointed to this fact when asked why Giuliani was not using an email address with his own name. I don't usually respond to inquiries on these cases, and I can't comment on much, but I can tell you that the email address you're referring to is based on his mother's name, Helen, and that email address was the main email used by him to communicate with pretty much everyone before the DOJ seized his devices, so there's nothing unusual about him using that email to communicate with anyone at that time, unless, of course, you set it up in the first place to be able to communicate in that way. That was its origin story. Then that would be very bad. It's his mom's name. He's always used it. It's not so bad.
To respond to Rhiannon here, was Rudy Giuliani always insane, or was the 9/11 thing just a rare moment of civility? Actually, to respond to that, Rhiannon, there was a time when he was a righteous crusader who brought down the mafia. He broke up the 5 families of New York. He made New York City one of the safest cities in the world. He was, now he also did the carting thing and the stop and frisk. And and those were all bad things.
Yep.
But he did do some good things. And he was a criminal prosecutor. He was a district attorney. He did good things for New York City. He did a lot of bad things, but he has since gone way off the rails.
Yep. The address also appeared in the lawsuit against former Trump White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows that was filed by the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack. A message included in that case indicates Giuliani as R. Helen 0528 was CC'd on discussions about an executive order that some Trump allies believed could be used as a pretext to seize voting machines and even impose martial law following Trump's election loss. Just casual stuff.
Nothing to get excited about.
The revelation that Giuliani used the R. Helen address shows that his efforts to fight the election result included being at least tangentially involved in discussions of the various plots centered on the executive order. And then we have this one, which is surely not going to end up well.
Bernie Carrick pitched Mark Meadows on $5 to $8 million plan to reverse the Trump 2020 loss.
So this guy named Bernie Carrick got into communication with the chief of staff. Had said for $5 to $8 million,
we can fix it.
I can help you. That's not good. I don't know much about this law thing, but I think that's not good.
I want my guy to win, so here's what I'm going to do.
Bernie Carrick had a plan to keep former President Trump in office after losing the 2020 election, and he knew how much it would cost. roughly.
Wow.
Per an email surfaced in a defamation lawsuit brought against Rudy Giuliani, Carrick wrote to then White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows in a December 28, 2020 missive that he would need between $5 to $8 million, quote, to put a plan into action that would pressure state legislators into throwing their electors behind Trump. It was one feature of a broader effort to co-opt the state legislatures, quote, it was to is for strategic communications plan. So one of that was attached to Carrick's email and indicated that he would need me. So basically, he wrote a strategic communications plan, annexed it to the email, and said, if you want, this is the way forward, and it'll cost about $5 to $8 million to do this. Now, who is this Carrick guy? Carrick is a longtime Giuliani, surprise, surprise, confidant who served as commissioner of the New York City Police Department during Giuliani's mayoralty. That time where he, to lower the crime rate and the stop and frisk and all that kind of
Yes.
stuff. Yeah. So you heard that?
Oh, yeah,
Mr.
yeah, I was
Grizzly?
listening.
Okay. All right. So thanks to a recommendation from Giuliani, he went on to serve as the interim interior minister of Iraq during the country's occupation by U.S. forces. In 2010, Carrick went to prison after pleading guilty to a slew of charges, including tax fraud and making false statements to the White House in conjunction with his vetting for federal posts. Carrick was pardoned by Trump in 2020. So a man who went to prison said, I've got a communications plan for
Hey,
you
check this out. Watch.
that'll help overturn this election. To the chief of staff, Mark Meadows,
The criming.
who recently testified before the grand jury for many, 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 many
The
hours.
criming. It just keeps criming. I don't understand why that is.
And some of those electors have been seen coming out of grand jury.
You're gonna lose your job. You're gonna lose your job. You're gonna go to jail.
Like, seriously. We're going to need we're going to need a hotel for the team and 2 vehicles to pick us up. Christina Bob, who is our coordinator back in DC, does not have a credit card or authorization for these logistics, he wrote. I reached out to Mike Glassner, who apparently is no longer on payroll. Can I have some money coordinate with Christina to handle? Thank you, sir. Oh my God. That was verbatim. And Christina Bob's name coming up there is kind of interesting because she was one of those 2 Trump lawyers who whose names or didn't want to sign the boxes with the FBI. It's like the first 2 lawyers we heard about that in the first few days were Evan Corcoran, who now can't be Trump's lawyer because, well, he recently had to testify in grand jury against him, and Christina Bob, who was the first to say, I did. No. Those things, this is what he told me. I'm not. So, yeah. No wonder Trump's having trouble finding lawyers.
No kidding.
Oh, man. Wow. This is not good.
No.
Oh my God, jeez.
It just gets worse by the minute. Right?
It really does just get worse. Now, here's the thing that's interesting about this is that in this discussion, when you're hearing all these Republican talking points, you have to remember that Trump is not being charged with taking the documents.
No?
He's only being charged for willfully retaining them.
Right.
So when they turn around and they say, well, what about Hillary? And what about Biden? And what about Mike Pence?
Emails.
It's like, they had the documents, yes, but once they were asked to give them back, they did. Or once they discovered, oh my God, I have documents. I don't want these anywhere near around me whatsoever. Please come and take them. But Trump, he was like, documents? What documents? We don't have documents. Oh, what? Oh, well, oh, here are some documents. Okay, no, but we have no more. Oh, what? Oh, you're gonna, oh, no, okay, well, here we go. Oh, subpoena. Oh, okay, yeah, here are a few more. Oh, you're coming to look. Okay, we're just gonna like scatter about like 30 over here in this thing. And then, okay, now you got them all. Hey, gee, did you find anything? Are you okay, guys? Really okay? Oh, we're good? Yeah, okay. Oh, what? Oh, being indicted? There's still like boxes in my bathroom.
What, you don't keep your top secret classified nuclear codes in the bathroom? You don't do that? You don't put them in a little banker's box and keep them in the shitter?
Yeah. not only that, but that Walt Nada guy
Yeah.
like moved 64 boxes out of one room
Uh,
and then came back and put like 30 of them back. So take the boxes, go through. Okay, I'm going to keep all of this, and this is all the stuff. Hey guys, come and find the stuff that we have. And apparently, this part hasn't gotten much press, but Walt Nada apparently had a friend that was there as well, who started asking questions about the room where all the security footage is captured and stored. And then that room kind of sort of got flooded as he was trying to fill the pool or something. Convenient.
you know,
This guy's name is not public yet and hasn't been indicted. Why not? I don't know if he's cooperating. But yeah, so the security footage about like when we moved those tapes, where would that be? Because oh, this room over here. Oh, okay. I see. And I guess I'm gonna fill in the pool. And whoops. Oh, gee. What's that? Oh, gee. Oh, well, how did the hose go? I am. With every other detail, does anybody doubt? Does anybody doubt that there is a trap door somehow to what's underground on that first hole at Bedminster, and there are some nightlights down there, and he's reading documents? is, is there any doubt that he buried some documents with her?
not in my mind. Well,
I
here's the
just-
thing. Here's the thing, right? So here's why we know he's buried documents with her.
We don't know, but
No. Here's why I know. Okay. He buried her on his golf course in a casket. She was cremated. You don't bury ashes in a casket. She was
did
cremated.
not know that bit.
Yeah, she was cremated. So here's the thing. He filled it full of secret documents and buried it on his golf course. And he did it on his golf course because he gets a tax write-off.
Oh, shit.
It's like I almost said something that would have got me in hot water. I'm not going to say it, but every now and then I have this thought of, we have some specialized people in this country who in the Canadian Air Force, Canadian Army, who are world record holders. It's at the things that they do, and every now and then I was hoping they could apply their special skill set to,
No.
I said I didn't say that. I had a thought.
Oh, Kit Billy Rogers is with us.
Hey, Billy. Yeah, Billy is.
We're talking about you earlier.
Yeah, what's going on, brother?
Yeah, there you go.
Good seeing you last night too.
So yeah, this Trump stuff, and then Frumpy is probably disappointed in the number of protesters that showed up to support him and me at Miami. I think that they asked for they had prepared for up to like 50,000, I think, people, and they got between 500 and 2,000, which is not negligible, and that could do a lot of damage. But yeah, the throngs did not come out for him. And once again, I have to ask, because the former president left the courthouse without any restrictions. And again, I'm wondering, where can I sign up for that kind of witch hunt? Because for this type of crime, it's pretty typical to have restrictions such as house arrest, ankle bracelet monitoring, being banned from using the internet or meeting with foreign nationals or leaving the state, having to surrender your passport, and in his case, grounding his plane. These would all be reasonable things to do in this situation, and none of that has happened. But it's a witch hunt, and it's a weaponization of the justice system against him. And given the severity of the charges and the number of people willing to help him and the resources that he personally has at his disposal, and people just wanting to throw money at him for some insane reason, all of these courtesies should not be extended, and they are extremely excessive,
Oh, yeah.
and he's getting them anyway, even though he does not deserve them, even though he will probably abuse of them and have these restrictions
Of
put on
course.
somewhere along the way,
You know he
because
will.
he's got more restrictions in the New York tax case
Mhm.
about what documents he can't see and who he can't talk to than he has here so far. And the interesting thing is that we literally have a side by side comparison going on. That Jack Teixeira guy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the guy that was playing video games,
Yeah.
yes, he's detained right now. He was in court yesterday, had charges read and stuff, and he's detained. He didn't have the document. He had national defense documents as well. Now, he disseminated them. There's proof of
He
dissemination.
probably tried to inseminate them too, because you know how much of a twisted.
Not Teixeira. We're talking about Teixeira here, not Trump.
I know, but
So we literally have a side by side. The only difference that we know of is that there is actual proof of dissemination from Teixeira. This with Trump, we just hear an audio of him waving some papers, going, "See, I see these papers here, here, here. Like, I didn't want to go to Iran. I didn't want to go to Iran. Look here. Yeah, see, I have this document here. I can't show it to you, but if it says right here that it was Millie that wanted to send me, not right, the documents were left in the ballroom so that everybody could go to the Mar-a-Lago National Secrets Library. Because they'd have a mimosa and just sit on the edge of the stage and rifle through them if they wanted to. So, I mean, don't come and tell me dissemination didn't happen. He's walking. That Teixeira guy's in jail. He's getting kid gloves.
oh yeah.
All right. It's just, oh man. It's terrible. I mean, I know why they're doing it too, right?
Oh yeah,
Because
of course.
everybody's going to cry and complain and all that kind of stuff. And, so the least that they can do is they make the case. It's like, we did everything. We did dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's, teeted them with kid gloves. It doesn't matter. They're going to whine anyway.
They're gonna whine for the sake of
He
whining.
really needs to have the full justice experience.
Oh yeah, yeah. We should go a little bit further and not just the full justice. How about, usually when somebody gets put into a position like that, we have to do the full body cavity search too, right?
I'm not going there.
They do.
I like
When you
the
go to prison, they do that though.
Yes. I like the Kit Saucy ban Trump from using a girdle and a spray tan. That will make him really fall apart.
Yeah, that's
Remove his hair and makeup budget.
and can you believe he spends money on that rat infested nastiness on top of his head?
Vanity. Just shave it off, man.
So years ago, he ranted on about, because he was friends with Michael Jackson, and he ranted on about Michael Jackson, who had surgery after surgery after surgery to the point where his nose fell off, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I just don't know, Michael. Doesn't he look in the mirror, and what does he see when I'm like, what? Pot meat kettle. Holy Christ, dude. Holy, like, come on.
I know.
Look, and you know why Michael Jackson continually had rhinoplasty multiple times? It was because when he was young, his father used to call him Big Nose.
Oh
yeah, his father was an abusive prick.
Yeah.
And he called him Big Nose. And when he was a boy, and of course, things said like that in childhood stick with you forever. And that severely affected his mental state. And that's why he had so many surgeries. That's why. That's
okay.
where it stems from. That was the seed that was planted.
Oh. Wow. Okay.
So when he looked at himself in the mirror, all he saw was this giant schnoz. So he just had it reduced and reduced and reduced. And no, it's like somebody who has an eating disorder. When they look in the mirror, they see something we don't see.
Mm.
or anybody with body dysmorphia of any type. When they look in the mirror, they don't see what we see. They see something that they hate, a representation of their worst attributes. Everything is amplified. It's like, I have a scar on this eye and a big scar on this one from a beer bottle. You don't see it unless I point it out to you. And honestly, I don't see it anymore either, because I don't have body dysmorphia. I'm fortunate in that. I'm like, yeah, I can just live with what I got. I'm okay with it. Therapy, medication, and working on myself has helped. I'm not going to lie to you. You know, I mean, that all contributes to it. But I feel for anybody who has body dysmorphia of any type, because it's hell.
Mm-hmm.
It's hell. It's like, well, and I'm not going there when I say the next thing. It's similar to somebody who is trans. They feel that they're born in the wrong body. That's not body dysmorphia. That's a completely different thing, right? That's a completely different thing, and it's a struggle. One of my coworkers, when I met her, she was a dude. She's fully transitioned, had top and bottom surgery. She is living her best life. She has never been happier, and you see it when she posts a photo of herself. It's like, there's the person I knew you could be. There's a happy person there. I see it. I see it in your eyes. I see it in your face. I see it in your smile. That wasn't there when I first met you. That dead person, that person who no longer exists, was never happy. Now I see a happy person. Now I see somebody who is living who they were meant to be all along.
Right.
So anyway, that was a bit of a diatribe. I apologize. I go off the rails all the time. Squirrel. It's the ADHD. Here's something I want to show you quickly from Slappy. I don't know if you saw this. Nate pointed this out. Nate from the breakdown. Nate Pike.
Okay.
This is he goes, there's partisan, and then there's what the hell is this? And he since deleted, so Slappy deleted this later. I'm going to put it on the screen right now. Breaking: 15 people killed in crash on Trans-Canada Highway. This is Trudeau's Canada. What? It, what the hell? You're going to blame the Prime Minister of Canada for every little thing on planet Earth, aren't you? This has gone so far into bizarro land. I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, really? You're going to use the tragic death of 15 people to try and push a political narrative? Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck your life. Fuck everything about you.
Okay.
Like, Jesus Christ. I don't right? Like, what?
I'm right with you. I don't get it. I don't get it. Here's the thing I don't understand. What does that add to your life? When you do that, how does that make your life better in any way? How does that comment make anyone's life better in any way? I'm guessing that's why you probably deleted it. But I mean, just what kind of person must you be to have a place in your soul?
How much do you have to hate yourself?
You think that number one is a good thing to do, good thing to write. Once you've written it, seen it on your screen, you click tweet, and you put your name and your face to it.
Yeah.
How broken must you be?
Obviously, very broken.
That tweet's a cry for help.
Oh yeah. Like,
it's a cry for help from one of two ways. Either that person's really broken, or this is really an act, and they say, "Oh my God, I just went too far and I took it off." But like this, but if that's the act you're playing, that's the trade that you are applying, you're broken a whole other way.
To even come up with that thought, like, what?
Yep, can't see by. How does that even come into your head? This is not normal. You are not normal.
You need more therapy than I do. I say that to people all the time. Like, you're broken. You need more therapy than I do. And they go, oh, you're in therapy? Of course I am. Of course I am. I know I have problems. I'm trying to make myself better. I'm being proactive. I take medication. I meditate. I practice what I preach. And I go to therapy.
This is the worst mass casualty traffic event in Manitoba history.
And he
It evokes everything that was evoked with the Hummel Broncos bus crash.
Yeah.
Except this time it was seniors going to a casino.
Yeah.
Rather than kids going to a hockey tournament. I mean, just it's ridiculous. They're ridiculous.
He is going to, and I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, but he is going to piss off the wrong person.
One day he will.
It's going to happen. I'm not advocating for it.
It's the law of averages.
I'm not advocating for it. Okay, please hear me out. I'm not advocating for it. But when you push and push and prod and push and poke the bear, eventually
the mouthy guy at the bar has someone knock his block off. I mean, you're astounded the number of years someone can go on being the nasty mouthy guy at the bar without getting his block knocked off, but eventually the nasty guy gets his block knocked off.
Eventually. And again,
I know, because I dated the nasty guy at the bar for 4.5 years.
We're not advocating for it.
Like, I'm just like, how do you have all your teeth? Seriously.
We're not advocating for it. Okay. I need everybody to understand. We're not advocating for that at all. Look, and here's the thing, right? And I'm gonna get right down to it here for a couple of minutes. This is off the politics for a few minutes, if you will. Everybody who watches this show or listens to this program knows I'm an advocate for mental health, knows I'm an advocate for positive mental health, and working on myself and suggesting to others that you can work on yourself too, whether you choose therapy or medication or meditation. That's neither here nor there. What is important is that you're trying to better yourself. On my ASMR YouTube channel, I have said time and time again, your politics, your religion, your views on those things are not welcome here. In that space, I don't care what your views are. In the ASMR channel, I don't care what your views are. I have that channel to try and help as many human beings as I can, which means you could be a Nazi piece of human garbage, but if you come to me with a mental health issue and you want to talk or you want to try and work it out, you're welcome in that space, because that space is to help as many people as possible, right? This individual needs therapy, probably medication, and definitely a friend or two. Because to go to where he went and type something out like that and release it for the planet to see, there's severe mental health issues going on there. And I say it all the time when it comes to Theo Fleury. Guy needs help. Somebody get the man some help. And he pisses me off. And I'll type something out and don't hit send. I get it out of my system. I'll type it out, go, you stupid. And I don't hit send, and I walk away. I walk away from the keyboard because it's like, it's not going to help things, Paul. Let it go. And that's how I sort of get my frustration out. I write it out. I don't hit send. I walk away. I hit delete. We're good to go. This person needs help. They need help. And do I like to? No, I can't stand this person. I can't stand this person. And I know this person, this Mark Slapinski, Slappy, is going to get himself slapped in the worst possible way for continuing to say the worst possible things imaginable. And
he's trying to Alex Jones.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I don't. Now, that being said, if it happens, there's nothing I can do about it. I don't want to see it, so don't show it to me when it happens, because we know damn well it's going to happen eventually. Law of averages, right? Law of averages. But the person needs help. And you're right, he's trying to Alex Jones the thing. It's like, why would anyone on earth aspire to being like that man? I don't get,
especially when you see where he's ended up.
Yeah. He's on the hook for $1 billion. $1 billion. Somebody, hate ages people. Alex Jones is what, 45? He's 10 years younger than me. Is he 45 or 43? Hate ages people. Hate and anger destroys a person from within. And I'm not getting hippy dippy trippy. But hate destroys people. It destroys lives. It destroys your life. It destroys everyone around you. And this guy, he needs help, man. Somebody get that man some help. If there's anybody in the world who has any love for that man, please get him some help. Get him some help before he gets seriously hurt and in the process destroys 2 lives, his and the person who harms him. It's going to happen if he doesn't stop. And I don't want to see it. That's my rant for today.
Your one rant?
You know I've got more in me. That's the main focus today.
Oh, man. All right. Boy. All right. Trying to think what else I'd want to put in there. There's just so much stuff.
Third rant of the day. I'm like, was it?
Really? I haven't been able to get into a groove at all.
Sorry, man. It's Friday
morning.
An
hour and a half.
It's Friday morning, and I've got a lot in my mind, and it's been a very busy, brutal work week for me. I'm not complaining. Just every now and then I get on a rail and I ride it out. So, sir, I will hand the microphone over to you because I know you've got stuff you need to say.
I don't know where to start, man.
Well, let's go back to this for a second. There we go. See? See? Look at that kitty. Oh my God, James, that is the cutest little kitty.
There's nothing about that kitty that does not scream love.
I know. Look at the eyes. Look at that face.
I know.
Schmoopy, schmoopy.
Oh my God. I just want to
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I want a whole basket of kitties like that. And just, when they pull a basket of puppies.
A basket of kitties. Damn, wouldn't that be an awesome basket of puppies? Instead of sending somebody a basket of flowers, send them a basket of puppies or a basket of kitties. There's only one problem, though. Okay, you only get this for 2 hours, and I got to take it away. The kitty's got to go back somewhere else.
Yeah. Gets us. He goes, that cat has badness in his eyes. I love it. A little bit. Yeah. A little bit. Yeah. So does James, though.
Well,
like kitty, like human. All right. Wow. Okay, we have some stuff. I've just got tidbits, I think, for the moment. Let's see. The 10th anniversary of the Lac-Mégantic explosion is approaching, and residents of the area are upset because the plans for a new rail line that will bypass the town, which was a recommendation afterwards, requires that 40 landowners be expropriated. And now, of course, because this is government, even though this is a very, 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 very sensitive situation, apparently there's been absolutely no consultation whatsoever with any of the landowners, and they will only find out on August 1st, once the government seizes the land, what it is that they will get. Yeah, that's not stellar.
No.
Seriously. Things went boom. In great part because the government decided that they only needed one person.
Big
the conservative government at the time decided that they only needed one person for an entire train. Now, the land is being expropriated in order to make that recommendation happen. In a town where things went boom, where a lot of people died. They say, yeah, we're going to need this land, and we are not going to talk to you at all about compensation or anything. And, you think this is the kind of situation that would say, you know what, here's the compensation, and here's a little more.
And we're terribly
rather
sorry
than rather than we're coming for your land and you'll get what you get. Somebody in that office who's running that program is lacking EQ.
You think?
Lacking EQ. This is the kind of stuff that gets people really pissed off and upset because it stays with them. And that's the stuff, when you're talking about things in politics that you could explain to your grandma,
Mm-hmm.
it's stuff like that. This is the stuff that makes certain governments lose certain ridings and lose certain areas for like 5, 10, 15 years, a whole generation. This type of stuff. This is the stuff people remember.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Ooh. And we have a Kit Donna Marie,
Yeah, she's
joining us saying, "Morning, Polly."
Hey Donna, how
That's
you
a new
doing?
name for us.
Yeah, we've been friends for a long time.
Welcome to the Beaver Lodge. Glad that you're here. There's also a report that's been an independent report that's been done into a situation of very big toxicity at the University of Prince Edward Island. And it has ruled that management has been seeming to contribute to it rather than eliminate it. Quote, "This is a report that says identify what needs to be burned and burn it down and start again,"
Ooh.
said Jenny Lidwell, chair of PEI's Advisory Council on the Status of Women. There's bullying, there was harassment and intimidation going on. Just terrible stuff. It was a 112-page report by the Toronto law firm Rubin Tomlinson, and said that the university failed to create a safe, respectful, and positive environment for staff and students. And this review was ordered in December 2021 following allegations of misconduct against its former president, Ala Abd El Aziz. Now, the president was accused of making inappropriate comments. It doesn't include details, but there was a review conducted, and it seems that he had been brought back, preserved in his position, and then more allegations came back, and then he was finally let go. I don't have the quote. I heard it on the radio, on podcasts I was listening before I came on this morning. Didn't have time to note it down, but the premier of Prince Edward Island, Dennis, just drew a blank.
I don't know.
Just drew.
I was going to say
blank.
Shapovalov, but he's the tennis player.
Yes. I'm sorry, his name just escaped me totally. But Dennis King, the premier had progressive conservative premier, probably the only actual progressive conservative anymore, because Blaine Egg surely isn't
Nope.
anymore. His reaction was what you would typically expect.
Yeah.
Because we need to put these things in place and make sure that we create an environment that's safe and all that kind of stuff. I wish I would have had time to grab the quote, because it's just like, this, we need more of this, we need more of this. But it is going to, it seems that the premier is accepting all the recommendations of the report and is very enthusiastic about wanting to implement them. So maybe there will finally be some resolution with regard to that. Another thing that was pointed out while I was listening to podcasts, somebody was bringing some attention to an editorial written by Tasha Keridan. Now, Tasha Keridan, if the name sounds familiar, is very big in progressive conservative circles, now with the Conservative Party, was being touted as a potential leadership contender for the race, but she decided to step aside and back Jean Charest's campaign. I believe it was. And, well, you'd think that she was more moderate, but 3 weeks ago, she had an editorial that said Trudeau lost the right to criticize Italy's PM.
What?
On matters related to all things rainbow, when this guy's a world leader in terms of being a leader of a nation and his respect for these rights. But here's the most recent one. Yes, she's involved with Centre-Right Canadians and possibly forming a new political party. But you would think that that political party would be behaving like progressive conservatives, right? That they would be with people with that mode of not wanting to do what the conservatives are doing. Well, I hate to borrow a page from Trump, but she published a little piece of nasty,
Oh, no.
and I'd like to bring it to your attention.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Grizzly, I'm going to put it up right here for you.
Okie dokie.
Please read the headline, sir.
Tasha Karadan. Trudeau must resist politicizing Supreme Court more than he already has.
Excuse me?
What? Trudeau's
Excuse me?
appointments so far have been overtly political. What?
Excuse me?
What is she going on about?
Uh-huh. It gets better. This week, the Canadian Supreme Court is one judge lighter. Justice Russell Brown, appointed by Prime Minister Stephen Harper, retired in the wake of a misconduct investigation by the Canadian Judicial Council. Brown allegedly had engaged in harassing and disorderly conduct at a resort in Arizona. Brown's counsel vigorously disputed this as a concocted social media smear, but the justice chose to step down because he felt that a protracted investigation serves, quote, nobody's interests, the court's, the public's, my family's, or my own. Once Brown's seat is filled, 6 of the court's 9 judges will have been appointed by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. And as anyone following the United States Supreme Court knows,
Jesus.
our Supreme Court is different. No, that's not what she said.
No.
Knows even one judge can make a big difference. The death of Liberal Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg in September 2020 allowed then-President Donald Trump to appoint Conservative Amy Coney Barrett just shy of his electoral loss in November. Her appointment created a right-wing majority on the court, paving the way for the overturning of Roe v. Wade and the ensuing passage of state laws rolling back abortion rights, which we are not fearing whatsoever here. Trudeau's appointments veer in the opposite ideological direction, but are just as political. Malcolm Rowe is the first judge from Newfoundland and Labrador. Sheila Martin is a strong advocate of reproductive choice. Mohammed Jamal is the first Supreme Court justice of South Asian descent. Michelle Obonsawin is the first Indigenous justice. Oh, yes, so political to have a court that reflects
The country?
Canada.
Does she work for that new radio station? You know that new radio station? CUNT Radio Country. She works for that
Taking
station,
the O.
doesn't she?
Taking the O out of country 24 hours a day. So the death. Okay. Again, the death of Liberal Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg in September allowed then-President Donald Trump to appoint Conservative Amy Coney Barrett to the court, paving the way for the overturning of Roe v. Wade with the ensuing passage of state laws rolling back abortion rights. Malcolm Rowe is the first judge from Newfoundland and Labrador.
Yeah.
The first judge from Newfoundland and Labrador versus overturning Roe versus Wade. It's like not even on the same scale. The first Indigenous
They're in
justice,
different
the first
galaxies.
Supreme Court justice of South Asian. It's like it's not even.
They're not in the same goddamn galaxy. Like, what the? Oh.
Through the appointments process, Trudeau has both diversified the court and engaged voter bases in values that Liberals hold dear. Like, most people don't care about the court. I bet you 97% of Canadians wouldn't be able to tell you that the first Indigenous Supreme Court justice.
I couldn't, until you told me just now on this podcast. I couldn't have told you that. I didn't know.
And we covered it on the show when it happened.
And see, right. And I, like, it's
That's what I'm telling
in and out
you.
of my head. Why? Because I don't have to think about it.
Did you remember Mahmoud Jamal? Because he was the latest appointee, the first Supreme Court justice of South Asian descent.
Yeah, I don't. See? No.
No?
You know why I don't remember it? Because I don't need to. I don't need to think about it. I don't need to think about it because they've appointed good people to those positions who hold what's near and dear to the vast majority of Canadians.
Right. And you know what? Stephen Harper is the same way, other than his attempted appointment of Nadam, which just broke the justices. Like, the Supreme Court justices he appointed weren't ridiculously political either.
No.
Right? And this had an effect. In the past 3 years, the Canadian Supreme Court appears to have followed its U.S. counterpart and split along lines of party appointment. An analysis done by Sean Fine in the Globe and Mail in 2022 found the divisions on the court had hardened since its decision on the matter of Quebec v. 9147, whatever. That case saw the large and liberal interpretation given to the Charter of Rights and Freedom, by which rights can be read in as analogous to those already enumerated, rebuked by justices who adhere to more literal text-based approach. Oh yeah, originalists. In the words of this majority, the Constitution is not an empty vessel to be filled with whatever meaning we might wish from time to time. Well, of course, the originalists, though, can only go back so far as 1982. At least ours don't go back to 17 something.
1770, whatever it was.
Again, just this has had an effect the past 3 years. Okay. I'm just going to do a little check here. Michelle
Googling.
Obama Supreme Court nomination 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So what she said in the past 3 years. Okay, well, she was August 20. She hasn't even been on the court for a full year yet. Okay, let's go Jamal on the Supreme Court. January 10th, 2023. So, no, sorry. No, January 2022. No, 2021. So he's been on the court July 2021. He hasn't been on the court a full 2 years yet. But she's attributing the past 3 years of decisions to 2 people on the court that haven't been on the court for 3 years yet. In this article. Of course, you would have to think about doing it. Think about, is this weird? Is there something wrong about this? First of all, you would have to have known that they were appointed to the court recently. And has it been 3 years yet? And then want to go and look and be motivated to look, like I was, to find out just how bad she's lying to you. She's attributing 3 years of decisions to 2 Supreme Court justices that have not been on the court for 3 years yet.
Rhiannon's nailed it right here. They're just making fodder for people in Canada who know just enough about American politics but nothing about Canadian. The Chads and Karens who want us to be America.
Yep. This is a case of a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing.
Right?
Because you know a little bit. The Charter was enacted to protect civil liberties to safeguard the individual from the power of the state, but the Charter also gave justices great power to make laws well as interpret it. That view was articulated by Trudeau's most recent appointment, Justice Obonsawin, who in her application stated, quote, "A judge must continuously interpret the Constitution as a living and breathing document that is reflective of the beliefs and aspirations of generations since its original implementation. A living tree approach is one thing, planting entirely new trees is another. The current bench will now be composed of an even greater majority of Trudeau-appointed justices." Yeah. And they are relatively young. Yeah. Courts have a long life, meaning that their influence can outlast the government that appointed them and shape laws for decades to come. And what will those laws be?
Yeah.
Let's just speculate now. Now we enter the part of the article where we just forget fact. Because what will those laws be? We don't know. It's the future. Just spitball in the air. Well, let's see what Tasha spitballs. Challenges to Quebec language laws, including Bill 96, are making their way up the judicial food chain. Laws on medical assistance in dying are ripe for challenge. A BC constitutional case is pitting Indigenous communities against the province's power to issue mineral rights. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith enacted the province's Sovereignty Act, prompting speculation of a federal challenge. The Canadian Constitution Foundation has a number of cases in the work, including a challenge to a Calgary protest ban that will light a match to the culture wars, and so on. And I'm guessing by mentioning those, she's suggesting that all the decisions in those court cases will be terrible, terrible, terrible for Q conservatives. Because if you were a progressive conservative, none of these things would bother you. And what our court might decide on these things would bother you. If Bill 96 comes to the Supreme Court, do you really think that the Supreme Court is going to say that, yeah, sure, go ahead. Just discriminate on people based on their religion? Or they might say, here's a good opportunity to say that there are limits on that notwithstanding laws. And when you're taking away rights that we've signed on to, like to an international charter, like the UN Declaration of International Human Rights, and you backtrack on those, you can't do that. Those are rights you can't touch with notwithstanding laws. because we have an international treaty that kind of overrides that. Right? So other stuff, for example, though, hey, you want a sign in Quebec, you want twice as much more French or letters twice as big, have at it. It's your party. Cry if you want to. But you can't work for the government if you happen to be living an authentic life and are wearing a turban or a kippah or a hijab, but you get the privilege of paying the same taxes for that, not having the same access to government jobs. I think the Supreme Court might have a problem with that one. I think you're on mute, sir.
Sorry. Here I am babbling away and you can't hear me. You remember when René Lévesque died, and he gets to the pearly gates, and Saint Peter meets him at the pearly gates. For those who believe in that sort of thing, Saint Peter meets him there, and he goes, "Oh, hey, René, how you doing?" He goes, "Good, good. Hey, can you let me in?" He goes, "Oh, no. I can't do that, René." He goes, "Why not? I've lived a good life. I've been a good representative of my people. I should be able to get into the heaven." St. Peter says, No, René, the rules have changed. Did you not know this? He says, what rules? He goes, it's French on the outside, English on the inside.
Oh, that's bad. Oh, no. That was a joke?
That was a joke, yeah. Well, you remember that was the language laws at the
I
time.
know. I don't know. I know the era. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh.
Oh, dude, that's
that did
funny.
not go well back then.
That's funny.
Okay, I'll take your word for
It's
it.
funny. It's funny.
Oh, that's a ooh joke. So she finishes. The big flourish. With so many thorny issues at stake and such partisanship and toxicity in the political arena, the last thing we need is an even more political court.
Huh?
In replacing Brown, Trudeau should eschew partisanship and simply choose the most qualified person for the job, regardless of gender, race, or political leanings. These days, that would be a truly revolutionary act. So, what I am hearing, because, right, let's scroll back up, right? The political stuff. Okay, where is it? Yes. Malcolm Rowe. That sounds like a good Anglo-Saxon name.
Mm-hmm.
The first judge from Newfoundland and Labrador. Sheila Martin.
Yeah. It's pretty white. Pretty white.
Oh, but she's a strong advocate of reproductive choice, so she's not the most meritorious person for the job.
Okay, so she's...
I mean, surely Tasha Keratin isn't doing female on female. Is she?
Maybe.
Tasha, darling, just little reality check if you want to come in. We understand that you are pretty high level in Canada and one of the political elites and very respected and have good reputation. But Sheila Martin, I keep on, yes, and Michelle Obonsawin are Supreme Court justices.
Yeah.
They're slightly more accomplished. Okay? Slightly more.
A little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah.
You might want to check yourself before you wreck yourself, darling.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Okay. So Malcolm Rowe and Sheila Martin, but now you got Mahmoud Jamal and Michelle Obonsawin. So the last two, not the last four, right? He's named six. He has nothing to say about the first two.
Yeah.
Second two, okay. Because the last two, they have names or pigment that makes them suspicious. And now, because the last two appointments were like that, well, now we should simply choose the most qualified person for the job, regardless of gender, race, or political leanings. These days, that would be a truly revolutionary act. And this comes when a justice that was appointed by Stephen Harper is the one that happens to step aside.
This is Linda's comment here. Well, I can't pronounce their names. Yeah, that's kind of nailing it right there. That's what that's doing. I'll tell you.
Here's the thing. Russell Brown, when she was saying he names them young so that they can be on the court for a long time. Well, Russell Brown, when he was appointed by Stephen Harper in 2015, which was 8 years ago, wasn't 50 yet. He's only 57 now.
So he was 49 at the time, right?
Michelle Obansawin.
Mental gymnastics.
Take a look. Come on, Wikipedia. There we go. Born 1974. Okay, so she is young.
Oh, yeah, she's 49.
48, 49. So about the same age.
Yeah.
Close to. When Stephen Harper. Okay, let's see.
Again, mental gymnastics. Simone Biles would be like, I'm not going to attempt that maneuver. I'll kill myself. The greatest gymnast that's ever gymmed ever in history. No one will ever surpass what she was able to do in our lifetime. So much so that she's created all these new moves they won't let her do in competition because nobody else can do them. If she was a white woman, I bet you they'd change the rules on that. But that's just she wouldn't attempt to do these mental gymnastics because
Malcolm Rowe, the first of the 4 judges, assumed office in 2016, so 7 years ago, at the tender young age of 62 or 63. That's funny, eh? When you just take the time to actually look up at the stuff that they say. Sheila Martin assumed office 2017. 2017? That's 6 years ago at the tender age of 61.
Yeah.
But but apparently he likes some young.
Yeah. 61.
All right, for shits and giggles, Mahmoud Jamal. Let's see. Appointed 2021. Okay. 55. He's 55, 56 now, so maybe 53.
Yeah. Children wet behind the ears still. Just came right out of the chute.
All of them, except for Obansawin, are older than me.
Yeah. Yep. Her argument's falling apart so fast, it's ridiculous.
But again, just that little piece of nasty. Right?
Oh, yeah.
There's that little piece of nasty just thrown in. Just slide in. We're losing a conservative appointed justice, so, well, gee, let's try to equate that. Let's look at the other 2. Nicholas Cassirer was one that he was appointed by the Prime Minister in 2019. Appointed. Wow. There's actually no age for this person for some reason.
There's a spirit.
No birth date. That's kind of that's actually a little weird that you could have a Wikipedia entry for Supreme Court justice and have that little information.
It's a little tidbit that's strangely omitted.
Yep.
That's kind of weird, right?
Okay. Well, there we go. And let's see, Michelle, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so he's named 5 in total. This would be his 6th. But wow, this is surprising that there's absolutely not. But Nicholas Cassirer was from the McGill University Faculty of Law, and then at the Sorbonne. came up from the Quebec Court of Appeal. So there. I
I've been
don't.
there. The Sorbonne. I've been there.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
Paris.
all these weird whippersnappers. Let's see. There we go. He
They're
graduated.
absolute children. They're right behind
Really?
the ears, right out of the chute. Come on, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have a birth date for the man, but we do have a photo.
So he's not a child.
Doesn't strike me as a.
Probably a little older than I am.
Yeah, probably older than me.
Yeah.
Ah, man. These people.
So
They will literally say anything. They will literally say anything.
of course they will.
Doesn't matter how true. Doesn't matter. Like this. Hey, we're replacing a Supreme Court judge. Let's just say that Trudeau's all his appointments have been political because they come from Newfoundland, or one is Indigenous, or one was born in Kenya, or
You know, that strange, far off, exotic place, the island of Newfoundland. Half an hour later, they live in a different time. I don't even know what to say, man.
Oh my god! I was hearing a story the other day on a podcast about some young person. They were talking about when they were young and they had moved to Newfoundland. And the teacher says, "Okay, we have some people that have arrived from Canada. Please make them feel welcome, so that when they go back, they can say how Newfoundland children are really nice."
What? What?
I'm guessing that might have been pre 1949.
Must have been.
Or maybe shortly after, and
Yeah.
more loyalists. Oh man. Okay. What else do we have for you today?
This is a really
in all
good statement from Linda. None of Trudeau's appointees got drunk in Arizona and followed a group of women around. I cannot argue with that.
I think this is time for some synchronized tea drinking.
Hang on a second. Let me just get that. I got. Oh, that was a good one.
Yes.
That was a good one. That was a good one, Linda.
Thank you for the tea kit, Linda.
Appreciate that. A great deal.
All right. Couple of a bit of a wild. I thought I had some wildfire update. There's a war going on between Facebook and the government.
Oops, I hit a
Facebook is
button.
protesting the bill.
Apologies.
That will force them to pay for content that they use. And, well, he's gotten himself a really, really interesting ally in all of this, because Facebook has started cutting off some access to articles. And the owner of La Presse and Le Journal de Montréal, billionaire, conservative, and separatist, Pierre-Carl Pelado, who was once the leader, I think it is, of the Bloc.
Yes.
Was it Parti Québécois? No, the Bloc.
The Bloc.
No. Oh, now I can't remember which one it was.
It was one of them.
It was one of them, off the top of my head. He is cheering on the Prime Minister to maintain the hard line. Now, strategically, in an environment where the government is taking a lot of hits, going head-to-head against Facebook and Meta, which, let's face it, not a lot of people have a lot of love for him, is probably a good one. And this is a good potential for a just watch me moment.
Oh.
You got to revoke this law. Oh, yeah, I do? Just watch me.
You know, and we were all, during the occupation, we were all waiting for that. You know how many times I saw people on Facebook and Twitter and social media going, just say the line, say the line, say the line. Just watch me. We all wanted to hear it. Well, I can't say we all did, but many of us did.
Yes. You can invoke the Emergency Act.
Just watch me.
Just watch me. So, yeah, this one is like, you can't do that. And yeah, apparently the prime minister is saying, yeah, he is not going to relent on this. Um, this is a weird time where the leader of a nation actually gets to punch up
Yeah, I like it.
on a big, faceless multinational conglomerate that takes all our information. Yes. Because, particularly in Quebec, because blocking access to culture in Quebec, anything culture in Quebec, is a no-no. So he's basically standing up and has Pierre Calpelado basically going, yeah, you go, Prime Minister. And remember that Facebook tried this with Australia, but their initiative failed because they were such rat bastards that they decided to block information circulating from media even during a national emergency, which turned the public tide against them. So now they're trying it again here. Like this. I guess they think that they're not blocking access to news articles during a public emergency or national emergency. I guess they didn't notice the fires.
Uh,
This- Look, all the government has to do is wait them out. Wait them out. So I'm with the prime minister on this one. Make them pay.
Yeah.
We need local media, and we need to find ways to finance it. And if Facebook, Meta, Twitter, all these people are like making money by taking content. It's like, yeah, come look up, access it through our platform and all that kind of stuff. And they get the advertising revenue because everybody's on their platform longer than the other ones. Then yeah, throw in a couple of bucks.
Yeah. So I want to pivot slightly here to Marco Mendocino for a moment or two.
Yes, please.
So our friend Evan Scrimshaw tweeted yesterday. Do the Liberals mad at me for saying Mendocino needs to resign? Get it now. He's hurting the government. He's making the re-election of the government less likely. He is bad news. And then somebody responded to that tweet by saying, what have you been smoking, Evan? You're not being rational. And then somebody else responded, and then he responded to that with, I want a minister of public safety who doesn't make an ass of himself every time he steps out in public. How is that not a rational desire? To which somebody else responded to that statement with, you're having fits of hysteria worthy of Andrew Coyne. Suggest you stick to sports writing or whatever it is you're good at. And I'm like, I'm not going to name the person who wrote that tweet, but I'm going to say to that person, no, we're in lockstep with Evan on this one. Look, I don't.
We've been saying that once he's got to go.
We've been saying it for a long time. He's got to go. He is
gun control.
The government. He's hurting them.
The gun control amendment. That was him.
He just keeps
screwed up the whole thing.
He tries to juggle and can't keep a ball in the air.
Intelligence not getting information across as we're preparing for the convoy. That's him. Saying that the police requested the EA when they didn't explicitly do so, even though they did.
Yeah.
Indirectly like this. That was him. Saying that the police stations had all been dealt with when they hadn't. That was him.
Mm-hmm.
The interference file. That was him. Now the Bernardo file. That's him.
Look,
he's got to go.
He's got to go. And I get, people.
It's not mass hysteria, and I understand that in the Bernardo thing. Yes, there's nothing he could have done, whatnot, and all that kind of stuff. It's just one thing too many. It's just one thing too many.
A bridge. Well, not a bridge too far. It's a tipping point. We're long past that. We're long past the tipping point. And look, I get how people want to, liberal supporters will say, well, yeah. I'm like, no. If you want to be a good political party supporter, if you want to be a good political party supporter, you have to point out when someone in the party has done something bad or stupid or dropped the ball. You have to be nonpartisan. You have to point it out. You have to call it out.
There is a narrative of incompetence that is starting to follow the Liberals now.
Yes. Call it out.
That was not the case.
You got to call it out. You got to point it out. You got to say, look, this guy's got to go. He's hurting the party. And Evan said that.
Public Order Emergency Commission.
Evan said that, and we support Evan on this one because Evan's right. He's got to go.
And even though in this case, the Bernardo case, I understand people are saying like this, there's nothing he could have done.
Yes.
And they didn't tell him. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
And it's not fair.
No.
That this would be this one thing where legitimately it's not fair. It is not fair. But at one point, it's too much.
Yeah.
The buck does start with him. Because the information was in his office for 3 months. Now, of course, we can also ask, we should also ask, Correctional Service of Canada, you're letting people know that you might be considering letting Bernardo go. You think maybe more than 4 days notice? Like, yes, 3 days, we're considering this, but we don't have a date for you yet. And then when you have a date, you give 4 days note. You think maybe that would be, there might be some changes at your end. Do you think that when you're considering letting a high profile person such as Bernardo down one, that there's going to be some PR stuff that you might want to advise the people that are going to be taking the hit for you, because nobody knows who the Director of Correctional Service of Canada is, but everybody knows who the Minister of Public Safety is, that you might want to give more of a heads up? Yes, and that if you've sent some type of memo and you haven't got a response in like 2 months, like this, they might, guys, we just sent you a memo 2 months ago saying that we're thinking of moving Bernardo. We haven't heard back from you. We'd really like your input. So yeah, it's not fair. But as we're learning again and again and again and again, when it comes to intelligence, when it comes to police officer, when it comes to law enforcement, all of that, people for some reason have some communication issues. I mean, heck, we had a commissioner of the RCMP that apparently had this whole plan to dismantle the occupation, who's decided she didn't say it because she wasn't called upon.
Yep.
Right? So clearly we got problems here. And yes, there are some heads that should probably roll. And probably more than Mendocinos. There should probably be some people in our national security apparatus, NetCSIS, whose heads should be rolling too. Because all these leaks, number one, and number two, that the same situation keeps on repeating itself over and over and over again. We have information, but we don't communicate it upwards. And then when we find out we don't communicate it upwards, oh, well, why didn't you communicate? And then everybody loses their minds. This keeps happening. You might want to look through your entire systems and try to find more occasions where this might happen and resolve them proactively. Perhaps you might want to do an entire sweep of your system. You might want to run some test games and scenarios using the system you currently have and say, oh, here's something that could go boom in our faces 2 years from now. If we do it this way, maybe we should fix that. They have high-level consultants that get paid thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to try to figure these things out. The same. And staffers in the office. Absolutely. And Mendocino says that he's making these changes and all that kind of stuff. And again, right, I understand it's not fair. But at some point, the visual, the optic matters like this. And the Prime Minister needs to be seen as he has control of his cabinet. And is not afraid to make the tough decisions.
Completely agree.
He's got to go.
We've been saying it for a long time now.
Yeah. So I expect a shuffle sooner rather than later.
I think so.
I think a shuffle date may have just been moved up.
Oh, yeah. I would expect it.
They were thinking of one in the fall when they come back. I don't think that the Prime Minister will want to go through the whole summer with
No, I don't think
that
so.
stench.
You know, I agree. I don't think they will. When the House is still
You don't want to.
sitting, aren't they? When do they adjourn?
Yeah, they're still sitting. Yeah,
they adjourn soon. I just don't know what the
they
date
adjourn
is.
soon. Yeah. Now, as this legislation-wise, there's two bills that have been tabled. The first one is the Minister of National Resources, Jonathan Wilkinson, who tabled his Sustainable Jobs Bill, which builds on a plan announced in February. He's quoted as saying, "This legislation itself is necessary because it will ensure that future governments will continue to focus on supporting Canada's workers in a changing global economy. Canada is the fourth largest oil producer in the fourth-largest oil producer in the world and the sixth-largest producer of natural gas. And our objective is for net zero emissions by 2050. Now, this is what was used to be called just transition. So now they're calling it sustainable jobs, which is words that Danielle Smith herself have been used.
Yep.
Jonathan Wilkinson actually took those words from Danielle Smith. Now, Danielle Smith is all out there and stomping her feet and yelling and screaming and saying like, oh, this is a terrible thing that's coming and I'm going to do everything I can to stop it and all this kind of stuff. But it seems that Wilkinson and she have a meeting scheduled for very, very soon where they're going to discuss these types of things. And Wilkinson happens to be one of these people who is infinitely and incredibly reasonable and likable and thoughtful. he was the environment minister before Guilbeault, and he's the one that put in plan all the framework that said, because he did this in layers, right? We had the carbon tax, but then we had the whole fair framework that says that we have to have this climate action plan and that it has to do something and it has to be revised by X number of time. All the architecture around that. That's essentially what this bill is.
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing the same thing he did for the climate change, for the transition, putting in place some mechanisms, things that have to report, some bodies that can look into things, things that, like again, I said, report every 5 years and that type of stuff to create a framework to support all of that. So I don't think that Danielle Smith's going to have much to criticize about this. Because it's not about caps and it's not what it's. Yes, she will. Yes. But this is not the bill.
No.
Right. That says there's going to be caps. This is the bill that says, you are going to need to move. You might need to move from this type of employment to this type of employment. Here are these systems, and here's how we're going to transition that, evaluate how that's going to happen. Here's a body that we're going to have that's going to consult, that's going to make sure that's doing that. And here's who's going to report back to make sure that that's being done well. Right? It's really higher level stuff, but it's a key piece. And Wilkinson, like I said, he's done it before.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the type of legislation which he's really good. So that's the first thing. The second bit of legislation that's being proposed is coming from the NDP because they're getting a little tired of waiting for the government to take some action on pharmacare, which was one of the conditions of that supply agreement. So they have introduced some pharmacare legislation, or they're planning to present it. Now, there's some difficulty. I'm not sure what kind of bill that's going to be because private members' bills or opposition bills cannot be money bills. And pharmacare obviously requires money.
Yeah, so it's a little complex.
So I'm guessing that this is going to be, so it might be some, like Wilson's bill, maybe some cleverly worded legislation about consultation or setting up a framework or something to make sure that, or setting up a process to make sure that this idea does not get abandoned or something. Because getting some action on this before the next election seems a little dicey, given inflation and higher interest rate costs. People might not want to be taking that on. Ontario and Quebec don't want to be involved in any way, and this would require the involvement of the provinces. Ontario is just not interested in. Well, there's not much in it for Quebec because they already have their own pharmacare provisions. I'm not sure they have a full pharmacare program, but they have some provisions. Yeah. So whatever money they would get, there's nothing in it for them. It's sort of like the childcare thing. When they were making the big debate, there was all the money that would come in would basically be to offset.
Well, correct me.
Money that they were already spending wouldn't create actually no more new spaces because they were already spending more than everybody else.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't the original supply and confidence agreement statement was that they were supposed to have pharmacare in place by the end of 2023?
I believe
so this new thing he's pulling forward is kind of like, wasn't that already in play? This is just, I guess he's just moving the needle on it a bit, maybe?
Well, because it's not happening. And he feels it's not going to happen. Remember, Jagmeet Singh's favorite words when it comes to the federal government is we forced them. Yeah. We forced them to do this. We forced them to do this. He said the same thing on the rapporteur. He's saying this. We need to force them to do this. He said thing on the dental. They wouldn't have done it if we didn't force them to do this.
Yeah.
Right? They're dragging the government to all of this kicking and screaming.
So he's got to look strong, I guess.
He's got to look strong. This is for the base. Yeah. Right? This because everybody keeps on asking, especially right now with the rapporteur thing, right? You're not going to make the government fall, even though you want a public inquiry into it. So you're going to make it fall on pharmacare, right? So the government's going to need to do something to show that they're making progress and that they're not abandoning it. Because, but in this economic climate where everybody's saying every money that you're spending is inflationary, I don't think, and without the buy-in of the provinces, you can't establish the pharmacare program. Now you could probably do the same thing as you did for climate change and daycare. We're going to put this pool of money and, you come and apply for the money if you want. And if you want to leave it on the table, well, then you explain to your constituents why you did that. So, but will there be a full program? Like the dental program right now, even it's like right now, it's not the program, right? it's like this pilot thing while they're building the program, and then they'll try to transfer all of that into it. So right now it's not formally a program. So this is the same thing here, but he is, even though all these constraints that they can't table a money bill, and it's probably not going to happen. It's probably going to be some clever thing. This is still a good move by Singh. It's still a good move. It's not the strongest one, clearly, but I don't think he has any strong moves, because his move is, I'm going to make the government fall if you don't. And
it's just stupid, because he could lose more in the process, right?
Well, no, not only could he lose more, right now he has influence in the government, but number two, do you really want to take the risk right now, potentially, when you've got 2 more years of runway to see if he implodes? We're like this, having an opportunity, a swing at bat to Skippy right now. There's nothing in it. There's nothing in it for either party at the moment. Now, people are saying that this may set up for next year's budget, which would be a confidence motion that the NDP would say, no, you didn't do enough on pharmacare. We're pulling our support. And I guess we could see where things are next April or January or whatnot. But I don't expect substantive change yet. We still won't, by the time March comes around next year, will be the full first 2 years since the Bank of Canada started raising interest rates. And those first actions will fully see their way through the system. So I don't see anybody making a move before then. And there still might be a recession that needs to come and go. Maybe not, but maybe so. So, and again, no government's going to go during the recession. No. So, I don't see the Liberals or the NDP trying to make a big move like that until they're sure that hopefully that the economy is on a much better footing.
Would think,
in that sense, in terms of those numbers. The economy is still on a good footing overall. It's just that the average person is not seeing it. But the macroeconomics are great. The Liberals' problem is that they're speaking in macroeconomics and not microeconomics at the moment. So it's not resonating. Mr. Grizzly, you said you've got a couple of hits for us before we wrap up today.
So we're all familiar with CLC, the Campaign Life Coalition.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So they wanted. They're an anti-abortion group. They're anti a lot of things. Anyway, they wanted to hold a rally here in Ottawa. I'm going to put this on the screen. The anti-abortion group Campaign Life Coalition is calling on supporters to attend a protest against, in quotation, homoerotic and transsexualist perversions at the Human Rights Monument Saturday in Ottawa. These events are very organized and getting help from groups with money behind the scenes. They want to hold a hate rally at the Human Rights Monument in Ottawa. Do you not see the irony in that?
Why is the Campaign Life Coalition even interested in any of these issues?
It's just a hate group.
It has nothing to do with their mandate.
I know. Well, here's the best part, though.
So they're diversifying their portfolio. I guess they're not fundraising enough on just abortion.
It boils down to. So let me just share this for you here. Hang on a second here. I'm going to blow this screen up and then share something. I think you'll like to see this. This is breaking news. Campaign Life Coalition just announced the protest against, in quotation marks, homoerotic and transsexualist perversions at the Human Rights Monuments has been canceled due to problems with obtaining a permit.
Gee, really?
I wonder why. You want to have a hate fest at the Human Rights Monument, and you were denied a permit for that. Do they not see?
That's what that reminds me of. When they're talking in Ireland, I might get this wrong. I don't know this, but when they had like the Orange Men parade and like they would go like, was it the Orange Men parade? But like one of the groups would parade and they go like parade through the neighborhood of the other
Catholics,
religious group. Like they wouldn't.
Why do they hate us?
Have a parade in their own part of town or their own neighborhoods. They'd go to the other part of
rub it
where everybody else is.
Yeah.
It's just
again though.
Let's go to your Human Rights Monument and like campaign against your right to exist.
Again though, it's the Campaign Life Coalition, right? And the statement,
Not all
their
life, clearly.
statement, as has become clear, the goal of the LGBT militants is to penetrate the minds and hearts of our children with homoerotic and transsexualist
Oh,
perversions,
penetrate.
thus driving a wedge
Penetrate.
between the youngsters and their parents and alienating from their faith in God's design and natural law regarding human sexuality. Will you please attend Bring Your Own Sign for Life and Family? Jeff Gunnarsson, National President Campaign. Hey, Jeff. Hey, Jeff Gunnarsson, I've got some words for you. You're a hateful piece of shit. Campaign Life Coalition. So you're an anti-abortionist. Fine. Don't want to have an abortion? Don't have one. Number one. Number two, your mandate is Campaign Life Coalition. Why are you all of a sudden becoming a homophobic, transphobic piece of human fecal matter? Oh, no. It's because you're a fucking steaming pile of shit. Go fuck yourself, Jeff. What a pathetic asshole.
Yep.
Oh, and that human rights monument, it's in my hood. It's down the street from me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I just. Ugh. All right, Mr. Grizzly.
One more thing.
Did you have
One
something
more
else?
thing, and then
Yep.
we can wrap up. Yeah,
One more? Rant number 4 says Get Saucy.
Well, Friday. I, Pierre Polyev, will fire all gatekeepers, except for the ones on your uterus. Instead, I will promote them and give them more control over your uterine decisions, which is what Bill C-311 is. They're trying,
Yep.
the people coming out defending the bill. Well, we need to protect pregnant women against violence. Yeah, we already have laws against that. This is nothing to do with protecting women and everything to do with preventing women from making a medical decision. That's all it is. They're trying to strip you of your rights. It's all C-311 is. And if you say otherwise, you don't understand what they're doing. You fail to understand what they're doing. They are trying to take away a woman's right to make a choice. We already have laws in place about assaulting any person, male, female, pregnant, not pregnant, non-binary, whatever the case. There are already laws against it. So to say this is to protect pregnant women, bullshit. Because damn well the next thing they say, well, we're going to have to charge that doctor with performing an abortion because he just brought harm to a pregnant woman. And that's all it is, folks. That's all that bill is. A slippery slope to get what they want is to take your rights away from you. They want Gilead. They want a theocracy. They want the Handmaid's Tale to become reality. And that's all I got for today, bud. That's all I got.
All right. Mr. Grizzly, do we have a show? All right. Kits, that's the end of this episode of the Daily Beaver Morning Show. We hope that you love listening to us because we love making this for you. Remember that sharing is caring and word of mouth is priceless, so please let your peeps and your poops know about us. And because democracy is something that you do, please, 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 please donate to the Corner House for
Cornerstone.
women, Cornerstone Housing for Women, with the Mr. Grizzly shave. And have we saved the stash?
Nope. It's coming off.
Oh,
It's coming off.
Darn. Oh, darn. All right. Hold on. Let me see. Somebody sent me no, I did not see the DMs. Easier to just send cash than outstanding cause, and I have some extra. Whoa, wait a minute.
What?
Oh, no.
Oh.
I missed that from Hugh. Easier to just send the cash. That's an outstanding cause, and I have some extra.
Hugh, if you donate $500, I'll keep the mustache for a week, but you're going to have to explain to my girlfriend, okay? She won't be happy with you.
Oh. Okay. We might. Okay, we don't know. I don't know if he's still there. Sorry, I didn't see the message
You'll
come in.
have to let me know. Because I really want to remove this thing. I'm really tired of it. It was for a great cause.
If you really like,
today's the last day. I'll post the thing. Where's the thing? I got the thing. There it is. The Great Shave 2023. If you can donate to Cornerstone Housing for Women, we would greatly appreciate it. I'm going to put a link to the donation website in the chat in a second here, as soon as I can get back to it. I can't, my computer's lagging right now, so I can't even remove the graphic I just posted. There we go. And let me put the link in the chat. If I can get to the chat, here we are. I'm just going to post this, and boom, there's a link to Cornerstone Housing for Women. If you can donate, that would be wonderful. If somebody donates $500 between now and the end of the show, I will keep this ridiculous thing on my face for another week.
All right. If you like this podcast, you can find us on the Crier Media Network as well as all Beaver Grizzly friendly platforms. Stars and reviews are appreciated. And if you would like to subscribe, that little squiggly there at the bottom of the screen, if you're watching, that leads you to our Podpage site, podpage.com/the True North Eager Beaver, all in one, no, not all in one word, sorry, with a hyphen between each one of those words, lowercase. And we love to hear from you. So please reach us on our Facebook at True North Eager Beaver, our Twitter at True Eager, or by email at truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com. We should probably check those addresses as well to see if anything has come in through there. We
I'll
can't
check it.
do this with. Yes, why not also subscribe to our True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube channel? That helps us out big time. We can't do this without your kind and generous support. So if you feel that we've done a particularly good show, if you're watching, you can scan the QR code right by Mr. Grizzly's head, and that will bring you to our emergency Guinness/coffee/hot chocolate fund. And if you're listening, you let your fingers do the walking, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, and that's where you can make your donation. Every nickel is appreciated. Of course, I said nickel because I'm on it. Also, don't forget our Peppermaster Father's Day special if you happen to be looking for some last minute shopping or a gift. We have the special Father Day's kit, normally $280, on sale for $99, which has some old school jerk sauce, some maple maple peach barbecue sauce, hurricane mash dipping sauce, some steak spice, some fire salt, a whole bunch of good stuff for you. Wonderful products. They are all locally sourced, close to Rigaud, Quebec, and everything is gluten-free, slow fair trade, organic sugars, organic vinegars, reduced sea salt, no capsaicin casein extract, no preservatives, no colors, no flavors added, peanut-free, latex-free, green printing, non-GMO, all the good stuff. So you can feel good.
So it's approved by people.
Yes. So you just go to peppermaster.com/product/Father's Day Kit 2023 with a hyphen between those words. And we will post the URL here in the chat for the kits. And you can get yourself some spicy today. All right. Well, I believe that's all the good stuff. From the Beaver Lodge, this is your Eager Beaver saying until next time, dear kids, it could be a tough world out there, so please be kind to and gentle with yourself. Mr. Grizzly, do you have some words of wisdom for us before we go? Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm overwhelmed with all of it right now. There's just so much hate in this world right now. We need to spread the love. Spread the love. Tell those that you love them. You know, the other day on Dean's show, he was talking about how he's attending a funeral for a friend of him who helped save his life. And I put a comment. In towards the end of the show about how a buddy of mine once said to me, he goes, would you make it to my funeral? I'm like, of course I would. I wouldn't miss your funeral. He goes, then why won't you hang out with me this weekend? So, we're still alive. Let's get together this weekend and make new memories. And, we can enjoy each other's company while I'm still here. And I went, yeah, yeah, that was a nugget of truth. And this is my buddy Corey, who occasionally does that. Well, I wrote that out, and you know how sometimes you will things into action. Sure enough, I bumped into him that evening at the pub, and I hadn't seen him in over a year. And I'm like, just boom, there he is. I'm like, holy shit, like, sometimes you just will things into existence. So yeah, we need to spread some love around this world because there's a lot of hatred right now and a lot of bad things and you know, you can be overwhelmed by it sometimes and I do get overwhelmed from time to time and I get angry and I express my anger, as anybody who knows me knows I am passionate. So let's take some of that passion and put it into goodness and express love. That's all I got for today, my friend.
I think that's some really good stuff. Mr. Grizzly, please roll the credits.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and The Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
Before we go to the weekend, I just want to give a shout out to all the audience that has been at the show last night and the night before. If any of you happen to be stumbling upon this, you guys were absolutely amazing audiences. Last night, the theater holds 163. We had over 130 of the seats sold. Actually, the last 2 nights.
Oh, excellent.
And last night, standing ovation.
Oh, outstanding, sir. Outstanding.
That was something. That does the heart.
No doubt.
That does the heart a little good, I have to say. And often after the show, we come out and we greet the people and we thank them for coming and for supporting our theater. And a lot of the patrons said that of all the shows this season, so I'm guessing that these are the subscribers, that it was their favorite.
It's again, I don't want to give anything away, but let's just say it. It hits you're going to feel all the feels if you attend, and I suggest you go attend this play because you will feel all the feels. There are things that come out of left field that you don't see coming. It's like, I thought this was supposed to be funny. No, it's a dramedy, which is what life is, right? Life is funny. Life is dramatic. It's real life.
Yeah, I remember. It's like, you didn't tell me there were going to be feelings.
You didn't tell me that. That's not fair. I didn't know.
And before we go, if you happen to be a fan of the footy, Mr. Grizzly, some good stuff is happening for the Canadian men's national soccer team. The CONCACAF Nations League. We're at the finals. Top 2 teams. Canada versus the United States. Canada took out Panama with a 2-0 victory. Goals by Jonathan David and Alphonso Davies sealed that, and the USA defeated Mexico. So Sunday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're in there, there you go.
I'll have to find that feed to tune it in because I want to watch that.
Absolutely. All right, kids, have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.
See ya.